What's up, everybody? You're listening to the Carolina Sports Update here on IE Sports Radio, your direct news for all that is sports. We've got a lot to talk about today, folks. We've got the Commanders draft is this week. We've got some playoff hockey for the Carolina Hurricanes and the Charlotte FC continue to defend the Fortress. We've got some news in college sports, talking transfer portal on football and basketball. We'll talk a little bit of baseball and softball as well. And if we could get into it, we'll even start looking at some USL scores and updates from a couple of our key teams there. But we've got all that right after a couple of breaks from our sponsors. So stick around and we will get into it.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single-A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all-brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clanking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the iSports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at iSports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making iSports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
All right, everybody, welcome back. There we go. All right, welcome back. Thanks for listening, checking out those sponsors there. Quick update for us. You talked about, follow us on all of our social media. Again, my social media there at Carolina SPUB _IE for the Carolina Sports Update Twitter handle, and then my own personal Twitter handle at UNC Navy 03. You can find me there. Hit me up, ask me questions, give me your thoughts. I'll enjoy all that, enjoy a good discussion there. But of note, we are now a YouTube exclusive. So be sure to come check us out all week. Make sure you're clicking on like, make sure you're clicking subscribe. And when you do, if you did it because you were listening here, then make sure you say at UNC Navy or at Carolina SP or just Neil told me to subscribe, so here I am. Whenever you get in there and subscribe, make sure you comment that you've subscribed. Let us know that you're listening and that you're following along. We really appreciate it, and we really enjoy having everybody out there and chime in with all your comments and talking sports, all the way from the pros, all the way down through minor league, college. We'll hit as much and as often as we can for all that. All right, we got a lot to talk about today, so I'm going to try to get into it a little bit. I'm going to move quick too, because in about 40 minutes now, 42 minutes, we've got the Carolina Hurricanes playoff game against New Jersey. I know I don't want to keep you guys from getting to that game, so I don't like to cut short, but I think I might try to cut a little bit short today, so we're not competing with the Canes and the Devils. All right, so first I'm going to talk Panthers. Been talking draft for a couple months now. I'm going to hit it one last time before we get into the real deal. On Thursday night, I went through one last draft. It looked surprisingly similar to my last one. You can find a quick graphic of it if you go to that at UNC Navy 03 Twitter handle, or if you look me up on Instagram. One fan's opinion is what I go by there. But I had not intended in this draft to trade out of pick number 8. I don't think it's going to happen for the Panthers. I think they probably want to. I think it is the best possible outcome for them to be able to trade back from 8 into the mid-teens. We talked about this. Pick up another second-round draft pick and use that to pluck as many people from this really deep defensive and defensive line and edge class that we've got coming out. We've talked about not a lot of high-end blue chip prospects. I saw a post the other day. Typical years, you have most scouts and most teams have around 18 to 22 first-round grades on players. So not everybody in the first round ever really is graded as a first-round type of player. This year, a lot of teams are saying around 10 to 12, so almost half as many first-round grades. But what we have seen going through these exercises with these mock drafts is there's a lot of talent that is back in first round, high in second round, all the way to the end of the second, even a little bit into the third, depending on the position, where you can get somebody in the middle of the third round that, especially an edge or defensive lineman, who may have gone, as early as the mid second before. So that while this class isn't very top heavy, and the defenders themselves aren't very top heavy here, there's a lot of depth in that quality starter, maybe not high end elite uh, player, but a quality starter or a very good rotational player. And so that's why I think that it's optimal if Carolina can actually find a trade partner, drop down from 8th to somewhere in the mid-teens, and maybe pick up a nice late 40, even early 40 pick in the second round, and be able to kind of double dip on this defensive class. I plan on doing that because I don't think it's going to happen. But the PFF simulator gave me too good of a deal to turn down, so I went ahead and did it anyway. Again, ideal scenario, maybe in your opinion, not ideal picks. What I've got coming up here, but that's what Twitter and that's what a good discussion's for. So hit me up, let me know. But again, I was able to trade here with Miami. I gave up, round or pick 8. I also gave up round 4, 114. And in return, I dropped back to pick 13. I got pick number 48, and I got pick 135. So filled in a few little gaps here. And that pick 48, I think, is really key to spur this draft on and get some really good players here. At 13, a lot of the same names we've been seeing on the board. And I still went because he was still on the board with Jalen Walker. I think he's becoming the consensus pick across the board for a lot of pundits, even at number 8, even though most people think that's too high. He's still probably the most likely pick here, whether it's going to be number 8 or number 13. Some people think he could go earlier than 8, but I don't know. We'll see how it works out. All it takes is a team giving him a pretty good grade, and he could go higher than expected. After that, I picked number 48. I did the same thing I did last week. Nick Emanwari, the safety from South Carolina. The guy is just a beast. I've already seen some posts from JC Horn. Excited for him coming into the NFL. Even a little bit of I think chatter back and forth about maybe getting together. I think getting the two of them in that backfield or in that secondary would be incredible. And he's just an athletic and talented player back there that I think can really help out on the secondary and help recover that safety position. From there, pick 57, I was able to get Jalen Knoll. I don't know that he'd be available that late. A lot of people think he's probably going to go a lot earlier. He would probably be somewhere around 42, 48, to be honest, in those mid 40s. But in this situation, he fell. I wasn't expecting him to fall. I was expecting to go with another defensive player at this spot, probably a Schlesinger or another linebacker or Oladejo at this spot. But Knoll fell, and I think he is too good of a wide receiver prospect to pass on at that point. So I went ahead and drafted him. From there, at pick 74, picked up some developmental tackle help, Ozzie Chapilo from Boston College. I think that he would make a great addition there. And we've mentioned before, Moton is going to be on his way out here in about a year or so. So get somebody in now to start working with him and developing to be his replacement. From there, pick 111, took a cornerback, Noel Williams from California. I think, especially at this spot, he's a great value pick. Again, continue to bolster that secondary, build it up, and bring in a really good corner to help out there. Moving on to pick 135. Again, that was picked up from Miami in the trade. went with center Seth McLaughlin from Ohio State. Again, I was able to get him last time around too. So we talked about, he is currently injured, but again, Austin Corbett, player who gets injured pretty often as well. Don't know how much longer is left on his contract. I think he's got 1 year maybe on contract. So, and then after him, it's Cade Mays. So I think getting Seth McLaughlin in, letting him take his time, get healed up, spend most of this next season learning, maybe occasionally rotating in, but developing behind Corbett and Mays would be really good. And then to bring him in, basically compete with Mays going into the 26th season and see how that goes. After that, at pick 140, Cameron Jackson, defensive lineman from Florida, brought in on a visit with the Panthers. I think they've shown a lot of interest in him. Again, they did make a lot of moves in free agency to help shore up their defensive line, but now you start to kind of build behind it, get some developmental guys, some guys you can, again, start rotating in, give your starters a spell, and be able to keep the pressure on through the game. After that, 146 went with Jack Kaiser, a linebacker out of Notre Dame. It's probably going to be later than actual pick, but I thought he would be another great pickup here. Jalen Walker as a linebacker will probably be slotted in to fill multiple roles, coming off the edge a lot of the time. Occasionally, probably being able to play off-ball linebacker like he did in college. But I think for the most part, you're going to see him in a lot of pass rush modes. So you bring in someone like Jack Kaiser who can help out. Jack Thompson still out there, I think, as a free agent. So I won't rule out at this point seeing him come back under friendly deal. But in the meantime, we'll still be looking for some linebacker help here, especially in the later rounds of the draft. Then moving on from there, 163 in round 5, brought in another edge, so kind of double dipped at edge. If you look at another way, double dipped also a linebacker, but getting a lot of pass rush help in here. Fadil Diggs out of Syracuse. This was considered a way too early pick by PFF. Gave me a grade of an F, in fact. But we've got the picks we've got. I wasn't going to do a lot of trading at this point. And so, you started looking for and taking what you need with the picks you have. And Diggs was a player that they were interested in. They brought him in as well for some practice. So, again, just targeting players of interest that fill positions of need in these later rounds. You can also probably, contribute to special teams immediately. And then finally, I took Corey Kiner, the running back out of Cincinnati, with my final pick at 230. Again, our guy to just bolster and provide a good rotation at running back, but also give a little bit of a punch for a return game, especially with new rule sets coming in, and wanting to find that dynamic rush, return man. I think Kiner had one of, if not almost the highest, behind Ashton Genty anyway, and Marion Hampton, but one of the highest forced missed tackles rate for running backs this year. So getting somebody like that who can force those missed tackles and avoid going down, I think would be a great addition to our return game. All right, so let's see if I can do this transition now. We'll, like I said, I am really looking forward to this draft coming up on Thursday. It'll be at 8 p.m. Unfortunately for me, that also means the same day as my wedding anniversary. So I will have to balance that carefully going in. Right, there we go. Alrighty. But looking forward to it. I'm excited to see what happens. As talked about before, I think the first round feels a lot like Christmas, where you're like excited, you're hyped, you've been waiting for this all year, and it comes and goes, and you're like, okay, that was great. But the real fun, the best days are day 2 in particular, where you got rounds 2 and 3. You still got some really high end players out there. And depending on how long you've been paying attention and how much of a dive you've been able to do into it, you still recognize a lot of the people. Day 3, interesting to see what happens. That seems, especially for the Panthers, in my opinion, where they pick out some of the strangest people I've never heard of, despite having followed, been looking at, listening to pods, watching things for 4 or 5 months, and they'll still pull out some player from somewhere that I feel like I've never heard of them and have no clue about them. But mentioned this before too. If you go back and look at who they brought in on their 30 visits, if you look at who they've got brought in on locals, you will see a pretty good pattern that they bring in. They end up drafting a lot of the people that they've brought in. All right, that light change, the color change down there means we are shifting over to some Hurricanes hockey. They have opened up the playoffs with a bang, defeating the New Jersey Devils 4-1. Stankoven was the hero of this game, scoring 2 goals in the second period. I mentioned this if you saw on New York State of Sports with Ricky K when we talked about X factors. The 2 things I mentioned were the 2 players that were picked up at the trade deadline, sort of sneaky, quiet. Logan Stankoven being one of them, coming in the Rantanen trade to Dallas. And then the other thing being how Carolina handled their penalties and power play opportunities, whether or not they converted their own power plays, and how they did at killing New Jersey's power plays. And Stankoven came through for me on this one, scoring 2 goals, powering them to that 4-1 win. And then in power play opportunities, Carolina also, while not incredible, did hold the edge. They had 3 power play opportunities and converted 1 of them to a goal. New Jersey had 2 power play opportunities, and Carolina effectively killed both of them. So, setting the tone early for this. Thanks, Larry. Larry loves the background. I do too, man. But effectively getting off to a very strong start here. And like I mentioned at the top, we are going to try to get out here at a regular time despite the late start, but because I want to get you folks out so you can turn on the Hurricanes game and not listen to me talk about them, but actually watch these guys get out there on the ice, take it to the Devils, and hopefully come away from the first 2 home games with a 2-0 lead, and take it up to New Jersey and try steal one of the games up there away from the Devils. But if a lot of other playoff action going on all week long. I'm down here in Tampa Bay. They play their first game tonight, which I think is crazy. Most teams are hitting their second. Tampa Bay is playing their first tonight. But if you want to know more about that, be sure to check out the Neutral Zone. They are also here on IE Sports Radio. They're also here on YouTube, and they will have all the information you're looking for on all the teams in the playoffs going forward. All right, let's see. Let's do one more quick talk one more quick thing, and then we will take a quick break for. Let's see. Let's do this. And we'll shift it back to our blue color, which I like a lot better. And we'll talk a little bit about Charlotte FC and the Crown. All right. Charlotte FC, we've talked about this. They have been dominating at home, and they continue to dominate. Absolutely handled San Diego this past weekend in Charlotte with a 3-0 shutout. First goal coming in early on a Leo Abada goal at the 11th minute. Sorry, trying to line stuff up. All right, there we go. And then follow that up with some good back and forth play. And then Charlotte was able to draw back-to-back penalties on Andre Reyes, which gave him the subsequent red card and had him pulled from the game and put San Diego down a man for the rest of the match, starting at the 43rd minute. Off of that, Patrick Ajamong was able to convert the penalty kick from that and put the Crown up by 2-0. Following halftime, Andrew Privet got out there. Had a great header off a corner kick. It was a beautiful piece of work. No, actually, sorry, it wasn't a corner kick. It's a set piece off a PK just outside the box. Sorry, terrible memory there. It just came from a very similar location. So great set piece penalty kick from the outside, just outside of the box. Andrew Privet was able to head it in or deflect it off his head, depending on how you look at it, and extend the lead 3-0. And then from there, it's pretty much Williford Zaha and Toclamato kind of taking turns, it seemed like, trying to get their goal in for the match. Because poor San Diego, again, down to 10 people on the field. And Charlotte did a really great job from there on, just controlling and dominating the pace of the game. Really, Toclamato, I think Vargas as well, got in there with a shot, and Zaha with some really nice moves. And so a couple really good shots, I thought, but just unable to get those to go in and close the deal. So unfortunately, he and Toclamato not able to get throw that back up. Not able to get their shots in, but you can see them again this weekend. 26, 7:30 p.m. We'll be hosting the New England Revolution. And part of this is really nice that Charlotte gets to keep hosting these games because they've done so well. Honestly, with the at home, they're the only undefeated team in MLS at home. But I think eventually you're going to have to run out and start going to other taking some road trips. And as we've talked about before, their road trip record is not nearly as good. I think they're 1-1 in 1, honestly. Right? 2. 1-1 and 2. So 1 win, 1 draw, 2 losses on the road. It's not quite the same. Right. They did win their last one on the road. Maybe that helps get them over the hump, and they can move on and they can continue on. All right, let's get a couple more sponsors up, or a couple show drops up here for you, and then when we get back, we'll take a look at some college updates, talk a little bit of transfer portal news, and a little bit of baseball and softball, and hopefully have just enough time to start getting into some USL. See you right back.
Put the fever on the head.
Hey, yo, what's good, Georgia? It's your boy ACS, and if you love sports from the Peak State as much as I do, then Georgia Sports Central is your one-stop destination for down south sports, courtesy of IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Are you a yellow jacket at heart, or do you bleed the red and black of the Bulldogs? Do you keep it true to Atlanta with Trae Young, Capella, and the boys? Do you rise up with the Dirty Birds on Sundays? Are you excited to see what the future holds for Michael Penix Jr., Bijan, and the rest of the Falcon squad? Do you live at 755 Battery Avenue? Do you rep for Albies, Acuna, and the rest of Braves country? If so, then let's get united every Wednesday for some Braves, Hawks, UGA, Georgia Tech, Atlanta Dream, Falcons, and more on Georgia Sports Central, only on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Are you a fan of Minnesota sports? Do you love the Vikings and hate the Packers? Are you a fan of the Timberwolves, Twins, Wild, Lynx, St. Paul Saints? Here on the Bold North Breakdown, we'll talk about all of those professional teams as well as all the college teams in the area. That's your basketball teams, football, hockey, volleyball, men's and women's sports alike. We talk about them all. You're on the Bold North Breakdown. Join me, your host, Glenn Ritter, every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Central to discuss all that is happening in the Minnesota sports scene. Here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Let me see if I can get the color I want. There we go. That's a nice one. All right, welcome back, everybody. Let's talk a little bit of college updates. We will take a look here first at some NCAA, men's football. That's a weird banner to type. I was in a hurry. Some football transfer news. So I just want to take a quick note, take a quick minute to talk about the spring transfer portal opening up. A lot of players on the move. UNC, I know in particular, had a lot of people enter the portal following the spring game. I've talked about this before. Something I don't want to say I was expecting, but I was interested to see how it would play out, especially with the current team and definitely with some future players on how they would, kind of react to the Bill Belichick style of coaching. It seems like he's probably, I don't want to call it gentler, but he is probably a little more coaching and more on the coaching side, and maybe not quite as hard-nosed with the college program. But I don't think he's going to take it too easy. And I don't want to say that Mac Brown did take it super easy on the teams before, but I don't think it's the same level of intensity. And so I was curious to see what players who had spent, a couple years under Mac Brown, what their thoughts would be on the new style of coaching. And I think this exodus kind of helps give us that answer. However, he has also been able to pull in a lot of really good talent, a number of four-star players from other schools, and some of them from some pretty prominent schools too, which has got me excited. So let's get into the rest of them too. So just took a quick look at the top 25 or so programs and their transfer classes according to 247 Sports. So at the top of our list for the schools we're looking at, number 11 was North Carolina. They have 24 new commits. They've, again, pulling folks from like Benjamin Hall, committed coming from Michigan. You got Gio Lopez, who was another big get, especially considering I think it was Baker was the quarterback from the quarterback from Purdue, re-entered the transfer portal and actually went back to Purdue, leaving UNC with essentially Baker, the incoming freshman, as the primary option for quarterback. Getting Gio Lopez from Southern Alabama to come over was a great pickup as well. Look at some other folks. You got Mekhi Bayer from Missouri, four-star linebacker. Got Smith Vilbert, four-star edge coming from Penn State. Great pickup there. You got safety Coleman Bryson coming from Minnesota. We picked the heck out of Washington's pockets, getting a couple of 3-stars, 4-star cornerback coming from there, and a 4-star linebacker coming from there. Kamori House was one of the bigger names that came on pretty early. So, yeah, like I said, a lot of really good players coming from some schools that maybe you wouldn't have expected to see a year or so ago. Miles McVay, offensive tackle coming from Alabama. So I'm excited to see Carolina picking up players from those kind of programs, Alabama, Michigan, Washington, and be able to get them in the door here. So that involved six 4-star recruits in that transfer class. That's pretty good. South Carolina was next up at number 15. They also have 6 4-star prospects coming in their transfer. Let's see. Got Rodney Newsom, interior offensive lineman. Rasul Faison, 4-star running back coming in from Iowa State. No, you State. I don't know who that is. Wait, hold on. Utah State. There we go. Coming in from Utah State. Aaron Nolan, a great name there. Coming from Ohio State, quarterback. And watched Ohio State lose a quarterback. That's pretty impressive. Good job, South Carolina. Jalen Brown, coming from Missouri as well, 4-star defensive lineman. And then there's another guy, Gabriel Brownlow Dindy, 4-star defensive lineman coming from Texas A&M. So South Carolina also doing their best to get reloaded. A lot of their players, especially on the defensive side of the ball, hitting the draft here in a couple of days and out of the program. So for them to kind of reload and rebuild that program through the portal, pretty good job there. And let's see, I think that was essentially it for Wake Forest. Also, it's a pretty nice class. They're down at number 40 though. Pulled in 1 4-star recruit. So good work there, I think, here over the 2 transfer periods for football. And Bill Belichick really kind of, and the new GM, Lombardi, really getting out there and getting some work done and getting into it, bringing in some great players. All right, let's talk. Yeah, that'll work. Let's talk a little bit about some of our basketball transfers as well. We're also in the transfer window there. A lot of that wrapping up. And again, while not top of the list overall, top of our list is, once again, North Carolina. Have 4 commits so far, all 4 of which are 4-star recruits. Yep. So some of the key guys here, Carolina went hard to get some big post players. Jaron Stevenson from Alabama and Henry Vassar from Arizona coming in. Stevenson 6'11", 215, and Vassar 7 foot, 235 pounds. It's going to go a long way to improving Carolina's interior. Watch them get manhandled too many times down low here over the last this entire season, particularly against teams like Duke. So it's good to see them bringing in some big guys like that. Then you've got combo guard who will be playing point guard for us, Kyan Evans. I hope I'm saying that right. 4-star coming from Colorado State. Had a really good season with them. Good tournament run as well. And then another guard, Jonathan Powell, coming over from West Virginia. Really good scorer. A couple of guys still sitting in the portal. Left UNC, Vinell and Lubin. Although there's been like some really weird goings on with his, where apparently he intends to transfer back to Carolina. He's just sitting in the portal to save his position. I don't know exactly how that works, but you got that. And then Cade Tyson, who was a transfer in to UNC last season, had a couple games where he's okay, but really did not do as much as people were hoping he would be able to do. Clemson sits at number 19, also with 4 4-star recruits. We got some good players coming in as well. You got Ephraim Johnson, RJ Godfrey, Carter Welling, and Nick Davidson, all 4-star recruits. Looking to go big with this group of guys. 2 power forwards, center, 6'8", 230 for Godfrey, 6'10", 225 for Welling, and 6'10", 238 for Davidson. Got Godfrey coming from Georgia, so kind of a nice get there. And then you got guard coming in. We're talking, just said Johnson coming in as well. So good transfer class there for Clemson as well. Moving on from then, Wake Forest, also really good transfer class. They're in the top 26. They got 4 4-stars coming in. So, a lot of good stuff happening for some of our teams here in the transfer portal. Let's hope that they can kind of take this new talent, convert it, put the work, and get some points on the board, make some deep runs into the tournament this year. All right, let's see what do we have left. We have a couple minutes. Let's do one more quick break. We'll come back. We'll wrap it up with some NCAA baseball and softball. And then I will probably call it good at that. Like I said, I don't really like to cut it this short, but I do want to get folks out to watch the Canes game. So a couple quick drops here for you, and then we will be back with some baseball and softball.
What's up, Wisconsin sports fans? I'm Dan, diehard Baholic, host of the Wisconsin Whistle. Check us out every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Central, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. We're talking Green Bay Packers, Milwaukee Brewers, Milwaukee Bucks, Marquette basketball, Wisconsin football and basketball, and all Wisconsin sports. Don't miss us each week, Wednesdays, 6 p.m. on IE Sports Radio. Your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's up, New York? This is Ricky K coming at you at the NY State of Sports, a new show here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Listen to me every Thursday afternoon as we bring you the latest takes on the Yankees, Mets, Jets, Giants, Knicks, Nets, Rangers, Devils, and Islanders. Plus, you get some college hoops and what's the local sports events going on in the area. It's a state that never sleeps, so why not get the opinions and sports takes that never sleep? Again, every Thursday, 2 p.m. to the NY State of Sports. We'll see you then.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Let's get into some NCAA basketball highlights real quick. We'll just go through our top 25 like we normally do. We'll kick it off with number 2, Clemson. Playing pretty well, as per usual. Overall record right now, sitting at 35-7. They're 13-5 in the ACC. That's coming off a 2-1 series win against Louisville. Some really good games going on there. close one in the opener, 7-6, and again in the next 2-1, and a close loss in your final game, losing that one 6-8. So, but they continue to roll and play well, and we'll definitely be seeing them in the postseason. So looking forward to that. Follow that up with our own North Carolina Tar Heels. They're up to number 8 now overall. They have a 31-9 record, 13-8 in the ACC. They are currently playing Presbyterian. I don't have that score right at the moment, but I could probably get it. Let's first. Oh wait, yeah, we do. So top of the third against Presbyterian right now, and they are trailing 4-3. So they were down 3-1 earlier in this game, so starting to make a little bit of a comeback. Let's hope the Tar Heels can rally and get past Presbyterian for the win. But prior to that, they had a nice 2-1 series win against Virginia Tech, defeating them in the opening game on Friday 9-6, then dropping their second game 6-10, and then finally taking the closing game 7-4. That keeps North Carolina in the top 10, where they're playing strong as well, and hoping to see them continue to play on and see them in the College World Series too. Follow that up with Coastal Carolina, who is still at number 21. I think they've been there for like a month now, but they are 30-10 overall. They are 14-4 in the Sun Belt Conference, and they just came off a 3-game sweep of conference foe Marshall. Predominant 1-2 here. 11-1 opening game Thursday, 10-0 that Friday evening, and then 13-5 on Saturday. Pretty impressive wins, pretty convincing wins for the team there. So, and then finally, newly returning to the top 25, the North Carolina State Wolfpack. They're back in it, ladies and gentlemen. They are sitting at 27-12 overall. They are now 12-6 in the ACC, and they are coming off using a sweep of Cal to get to that mark. It took them 9-0 first game Thursday night. Nice 7-6 win against them on Friday, and then followed up with a 5-2 win to get that sweep and get themselves back in the top 25 and in the conversation for College World Series berth. All right. Let's wrap it up real quick with our softball. Boom. There we go. Kick it off. Just going again through our top 25. And first up is South Carolina. We've been playing really well all season. They are sitting at number 10. And once my page loads, I'll give you the quick rundown. They're 35-11 overall, 10-8 in the SEC. And they are coming off a 3-game sweep of Kentucky. So great games here for them. 14-1, 1-0, 7-0. So really strong performance from South Carolina there. In softball. Please go away. Random ads. Thank you. All right. So there's South Carolina for you at number 10, dropping down to number 14. Now we have Clemson, also out here making a name for themselves. 37-12 overall, 16-5 in the ACC, and doing it with a convincing 2-1 series win over Boston College. 6-2, 8-4, and then wrapping up 2-5 loss in that final game on Friday. Of note, also with a win over previously mentioned number 10 South Carolina. They beat them 2-1 just prior to that on Tuesday, April 15th. So Clemson, not one to be trifled with, and looking to make their own name here on the softball diamond. And finally, it looks like we have Duke, 34 and 14 overall record, 14-7 in the ACC, and they were coming off a 2-1 series win over Notre Dame. Played in Durham at Duke Softball Stadium. First game Thursday night was a 5-4 win. Second game was a 2-1 win, and then Saturday wrapped it up with a 5-6 loss. But again, getting that 2-1 win, they're on a streak here, folks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, 13-2 over the last 15 games. That's pretty darn good. They started off with a decent enough record, but that 13-2 record is really pushing them forward and going, I think, push them further up the standings. Like I said, sitting at 15 overall right now, and probably going to keep going up. All right, that is going to do it for me today. Like I said, I want to get us out of here for this Hurricanes game. I mean, we're going to go ahead and go with some red. Yep. Some red on our way out. There I am. I'm back. Let's see. No, is it not going to work? Oh no, it's stuck. All right, I don't know what's going on. So we're going to say green, but I've got red lights on. We're going to turn on the Hurricanes game, watch some hockey. It's a lot more exciting. It's playoff hockey. It's always hard for me to watch playoff hockey because it is so intense and so hard. You're on the edge of your seat the entire time. Your team could be up 2-0, and then 30 seconds the other team could have tied it up and looking at overtime. So make sure you tune in those Hurricanes. Make sure you tune in later this week. We're going to try to do another collab pod with Ricky K and New York City Sports. We'll talk about the series, and then we will follow these guys through, hopefully to the finals, hopefully hosting at Stanley Cup.